She was the most famous woman on the planet, the golden icon of Hollywood, the face that launched fantasies across generations. But behind the beauty and glamour lived a girl named Norma Jeane, a girl who never felt loved, who never truly felt safe, who spent her entire life chasing something she could never quite hold peace. Norma Jeane was born in Los Angeles on June 1st, 1926, but she never knew her. Her mother was in and out of psychiatric hospitals, and from the age of 7. She was passed from one foster home to another. Some were kind, most were not. She was assaulted before. She turned 10, she never spoke about it directly, but her eyes always hinted at it. Later in life, people said she had a sadness that never left her, and that sadness, it had a name. Trauma at 16, she married the boy next door. His name was Jim. He joined the Navy, and she stayed behind. They said it was for love. But it was to escape the system, to avoid being placed back in foster care while working in a munitions factory during World War II. A photographer took her picture. One picture led to another. Soon she was modeling, dyeing her hair blonde, changing her voice, her laugh. Her name, Norma Jeane, became Marilyn. The studios loved her body, but not her mind. They told her to speak slower, smile more, giggle a little. They gave her roles as the dumb blonde while she read books between takes, novels, poetry, Shakespeare. She studied acting at the Actors Studio in New York alongside legends. While people saw a fantasy, she was fighting to become an artist. She wanted to matter, to be respected, not just desired. She felt small in a big world. Her nights were filled with sleeping pills, and her mornings with stimulants to keep going, to keep smiling, to keep pretending. In 1954, she married Joe DiMaggio, America's baseball hero. He was strong, admired, and jealous. He wanted her to quit Hollywood. He hated the eyes on her, the dress that flew up, the attention. He didn't understand her. She left in 1956. She married playwright Arthur Miller. She thought maybe someone who used words for a living could see her, but even he began to rewrite her in his image. The pain deepened. They called her difficult when she was late. They called her fragile when she cried. They called her crazy when she broke down. She was all of those things, and none of them. She sang happy. Birthday to the President in a dress that shimmered like diamonds sewn onto her body. She whispered the words with a voice. Barely holding together, she smiled, but her hands trembled, and afterwards she walked alone back to her home. Her pills, her thoughts, her silence. People cheered her on stage, but forgot her off it. And if you're still here, still listening, you're probably not like the rest. You don't just see beauty, you hear pain. And stories like this, they deserve to be told more than once. So if you're the kind of person who listens, feels, and remembers, then maybe this story is already yours too. People thought she had everything, the money, the men, the camera flash, but she had something most people never saw. Not even at her highest peak. When her movies broke box office records, when the world begged for more of her, she often sat in hotel rooms, crying, afraid to leave, afraid to be seen, afraid to disappoint. She once said fame doesn't change you, it just amplifies what was already broken. She wore her makeup like armor and her smile like a weapon, and every night when she took it all off, she was Norma again. Studio executives used her like a product. They dressed her, they marketed her, they sold her image around the world, but none of them ever asked her what she wanted, only what she could give. She wanted to be taken seriously. She wanted to play dramatic roles. She wanted to win awards, but they kept handing her scripts that treated her like a joke, and when she refused, they punished her. She was labeled ungrateful for demanding equal pay. She was called unstable for speaking her mind, but all she ever wanted was respect. At one point, she started her own production company, Marilyn Monroe Productions. It was her declaration of war against a system that built her and broke her at the same time, but the battle was too hard. She was too alone, and the pressure of it all turned her into someone even she didn't recognize. Some days she didn't show up to set, some days she couldn't get out of bed. Directors grew frustrated, co-stars grew cold, but they didn't see her pain, only her absence. She was just a girl, still searching for safety in a world full of wolves. And maybe that's why you're still watching, still feeling this, still wanting to know the truth. Because this story, it's not just about her, it's about everyone who ever felt unseen, unheard, forgotten. And if that's you, then don't disappear like they made her. Disappear, stay with stories like these, keep them alive, and they'll keep you alive too. Marilyn was fading. She would often forget lines, stare into space, then apologize 100 times. She didn't mean to be difficult. She was just tired of being someone else all the time. But studio execs didn't care about her burnout. They saw delay. They saw lost money. She was the star she had to shine no matter what, and yet she tried every single day. She showed up even when her hands shook, even when she hadn't slept all night, even when her smile felt like a mask. She wanted to make art. She wanted to feel proud. She wanted to be remembered for more than her body. And when you think about it, that's not so different from us all. We all want to be seen for who we really are, and maybe that's why you're still here, still listening, because something in her feels familiar, something lost and beautiful in the stories like like hers stay with you, then maybe you already understand why stories like this need to be told by the early 60s Marilyn's health was fragile. She had multiple miscarriages, each one broke. Her in ways no headline captured, and though she smiled for cameras, her eyes told the truth her. Doctors prescribed her more pills, more rest, more quiet, but Hollywood was not built for healing, it was built for performance. She began missing more shoots, she would disappear for days, then come back with flowers for the crew. She was always trying to apologize. Even when it wasn't her fault, then came her final film, Something's Gotta Give. And nothing ever did the studio suspended her again. Her name splashed in headlines. Not for her acting, not for her growth, but for her instability, but none of them asked her how she felt, how alone she was, how tired she was of being built up and broken down again, and in that silence she turned inward. Again into the sadness she had carried since childhood. On August 4th, 1962, Marilyn's housekeeper knocked on her bedroom door, no answer. She called her name, still no answer. She opened the door slowly and found Marilyn unresponsive. The world woke up to the news that America's sweetheart was gone. Headlines screamed overdose rumors, exploded about JFK, the mafia, the studio cover-ups, but none of that brought her back. She was 36 years old and still no one really knew her. Fans wept around the world, some refused to believe it, others said it was inevitable. But the truth is Marilyn never really died. She became a symbol, a question, a myth. And here's what no one says out loud: stories like Marilyn's, they remind us why it matters to listen, why it matters to feel. If this video has made you feel something, if her story stayed in your heart, then that's all this channel wants to do, to help you remember the world forgets. You're still watching, and that means you care. That means you see more than a famous face. You see a life, a fight, a voice. So if you're still here, don't let this be the end. Let this be the beginning of what you choose to remember after Marilyn's death. The world asked why, but they never really wanted the answer. They said overdose. They said heartbreak. They said Hollywood chewed her up and spit her out, but no one said what really mattered, that she was human. Joe DiMaggio was the one who arranged her funeral. He banned Hollywood. He banned the Kennedys. He banned the press. Only her real friends came. It was the only time in her life the cameras stayed outside. For 20 years, Joe sent roses to her grave 3 times a week. The man who once couldn't love her the way she needed now loved her the only way he could, from a distance. She had become a myth, but to those who knew her, she was always just Norma, a girl with a soft voice, a messy laugh, and a heart that could not stop giving. And when we remember her now, we do not remember a legend, we remember a girl, trying to feel safe in a world that sold her smile but ignored her tears. The decades passed, but Marilyn stayed frozen in time. Never aging, never fading, always young, always soft, always tragic. Her face became a poster, a perfume, a Halloween costume, but few ever saw her as a person. Her image was sold, her voice was remixed. Her quotes were printed on t-shirts, but none of that kept her memory warm. Only truth. Does new documentaries arrived, rumors resurfaced. But they all seem to ask the same question: who killed Marilyn Monroe? And not enough asked. Who saved her? Who tried to love her? Who failed to listen? Because sometimes the greatest tragedy is not that someone dies, but that they lived without ever being truly understood. And that is what makes you different, the fact that you're still here. Still watching, still listening. It means you are the kind of person who doesn't just scroll past pain, you sit with it, and that's rare, and that's what makes this channel something more. Some say Marilyn represents the price of beauty. Others say she is what happens when fame finds a girl before she finds herself. Maybe both are true, maybe neither. Maybe she was just trying to be loved in a world built on pretending, and maybe when she looked into the mirror, she didn't see the icon. We remember she saw a scared little girl who had survived so much and still wasn't sure if she deserved anything at all. She once said, "I don't want to be rich, I just want to be wonderful," and maybe that's all she ever was, truly wonderful in a world that never truly saw her. So the next time someone asks you about Marilyn Monroe, don't say she was just a star, say she was a storm, soft and fierce, broken and beautiful, real and unreachable. And if stories like hers make you feel something, don't keep that feeling to yourself. Remember her, share her, remember others like her, because that's how voices like hers never die decades after her death. Marilyn Monroe still sells more than most living stars. Her image lives on in posters, commercials, murals, tattoos, but her truth remains buried beneath layers of misunderstanding and myth. The world remembers her as the woman in the white dress, but few remember her as the woman who cried alone at night, the woman who read poetry in silence, the woman who longed to be normal. There are documentaries, books, endless analysis, but they rarely talk about her heart. They talk about her lovers, her scandals, her death, but not her generosity, not her handwritten notes to fans, not the times she stopped to help strangers she gave to children children's charities long before it was popular. She visited hospitals in secret. She paid for the funerals of people. She barely knew she was not perfect, but she was trying every single day to be whole in a world that kept breaking her apart. Her final years were filled with chaos. She was fired from movies, blacklisted by studios, and stalked by press. Even her home was not her own. She feared her phone was tapped, her letters intercepted, rumors swirled about affairs, secrets, files. The FBI kept documents on her, some still classified to this day. And no matter what she did, the press turned her into a headline, not a human. She became a symbol of what fame does to innocence and what power does to those who can't fight back. But even then, she had moments of joy. She danced at home, laughed with friends, sang off key in the kitchen. She was still Norma. Underneath it all, people often say they wish they could have saved her, but what she really needed was to be heard, to be loved without a camera watching. Marilyn Monroe was a mirror of our culture, our desires, our cruelty, our silence. When she smiled, the world smiled. When she broke, the world looked away. But today, you stayed, you watched, you listened, and that means something maybe more than you realize, because stories like hers, they don't end with a death date. They live on in the ones who carry them. If this story moved you, if it made you feel seen or made you remember someone you miss, maybe that's what Marilyn wanted all along, to make you feel. So take that feeling and carry it forward. Carry her story and let it shape how you see others, how you listen, how you remember. And if you do that, you are keeping her alive in the most powerful way possible. This video was never about fame. It was about feeling, and if you felt something, you are not alone. There are others like you here who see deeper than the surface, and this channel is for them. We remember not to be sad, but to keep alive what mattered. And if you carry this forward, we promise to carry stories like this to you always.